At the meeting of land and sea, a secret forest breathes. Its tangled roots drink salt water. Its branches shelter the life between tides. These are Africa's mangroves, the living armor of her coasts. They stand where few trees dare, shaping land from mud and life from salt. From the broad deltas of West Africa, across the Gulf of Guinea, to the island labyrinths of Madagascar, mangroves stretch their roots across two oceans. For centuries, these forests have fed people, tamed storms, and hidden untold wonders. But they now stand at a crossroads, between survival and loss. Along the world's tropical coastlines, where the land meets the sea, a hidden forest breathes. This is the realm of the mangrove, a world defined by constant change, a landscape that lives by the rhythm of the tides. Twice each day, the ocean advances, flooding this unique ecosystem with salt water. For most plants, this would be a death sentence. But for mangroves, it is the very pulse of life. They are masters of adaptation, a family of trees and shrubs that have not only learned to survive in this challenging environment, but to thrive where others would surely drown. Their existence is a testament to nature's ingenuity, a quiet but powerful display of resilience against the relentless forces of the sea. To conquer this salty, oxygen-poor world, each species has evolved its own remarkable survival trick. The grey mangrove, Avicennia, faces the challenge of breathing in waterlogged soil by sending up snorkel-like roots called pneumatophores. These woody spikes poke through the mud, snatching precious oxygen directly from the air. Meanwhile, Rhizophora, the iconic red mangrove, anchors itself against the push and pull of the waves with a scaffold of stilt-like prop roots. These elegant arches descend from the trunk and branches, forming an impenetrable thicket that provides stability and a safe haven for countless creatures. This difference in root strategy often determines where each species grows, creating distinct zones within the forest based on the salinity and stability of the soil. But stability is only half the battle. The other is salt. Mangroves employ sophisticated strategies to manage it. Some, like the red mangrove, have roots that act as ultrafiltration systems, excluding up to 97% of the salt from the water they absorb. For the salt that does get through, other species have a different solution. Their leaves become the final line of defense, filtering the excess salt and excreting it through special glands, leaving a delicate crystalline shimmer on their surface. It is a constant, energy-intensive process, a living chemistry of endurance, sculpted by centuries of evolution. This dense network of roots does more than just support the trees, it shapes the very coastline. As tides flow through the forest, the tangled roots act as a natural brake, slowing the current and causing suspended particles of sand, silt, and organic matter to fall out of suspension. Over time, this trapped sediment accumulates, layer by painstaking layer. In this way, mangroves literally build their own ground, turning water into land, millimeter by millimeter, creating new earth where there was once only sea. And in this ever-changing world, even their seeds live in motion. Instead of dropping seeds that would rot in the waterlogged soil, many mangroves are viviparous. Their seeds germinate while still attached to the parent tree. These embryonic seedlings, called propagules, grow into buoyant, dart-like forms. When they finally fall, they are ready to travel. Some drop and plant themselves directly below, but others float, sailing on ocean currents for weeks or even months, capable of crossing vast distances to colonize new shores. When a propagule finally finds a suitable home in the soft mud of a quiet shoreline, it lodges itself upright and begins to grow, carrying the blueprint for a new forest within it. Africa's mangroves form an emerald chain along the continent's edge, a sprawling kingdom of over 3 million hectares that binds land and sea. From the Atlantic's powerful pulse to the Indian Ocean's warm embrace, these coastal forests are not one single entity, but a tapestry of unique realms, each with its own story, its own rhythm, and its own relationship with the people who call them home. They are the vital interface where freshwater rivers meet the salty expanse, creating some of the most productive and complex ecosystems on Earth. In Senegal, the Saloum Delta, a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, is a perfect example of this profound connection. Here, nearly 200,000 hectares of mangroves are the lifeblood for the Sera people and more than 100,000 others. They are fishers, salt collectors, and families who have lived with the tides for generations. The roots provide a rich nursery for fish, a foundation for oyster harvesting, and timber for homes, weaving the forest directly into the fabric of their culture and survival. But travel down the Gulf of Guinea and the story shifts. The Niger Delta once held Africa's largest, most dense mangrove forest, a labyrinthine world covering over 1 million hectares. Today, much of it bears the deep, persistent scars of oil. Decades of spills have created black tides that smother the breathing roots, poisoning the mud and silencing the birds. What was once a bastion of biodiversity is now a stark reminder of the fragility of these coastal kingdoms in the face of industrial pressures. Yet, further south, hope endures in its wildest form. In Gabon and Cameroon, within protected areas like Luango National Park, mangroves merge seamlessly with pristine tropical rainforest. This is a rare sanctuary where the line between forest and sea completely dissolves. These corridors are highways for biodiversity, not just for fish and crocodiles, but for forest elephants that wade through brackish pools, and even gorillas that come to the water's edge to forage. It's a vision of primeval Africa, still intact. And across the continent's east, facing the Indian Ocean, the scale is again immense. In Mozambique, the mangroves of the Zambezi Delta and the Quirimbas archipelago stretch for hundreds of kilometers. In Madagascar, they form the largest systems in the entire western Indian Ocean. Here, they thrive in broad tidal flats, vast networks that are titans of carbon storage, locking away millennia of sediment. More than that, they are the first and most vital line of defense, their dense roots and trunks absorbing the fury of cyclones, guarding coastal communities from the rising power of the sea. Beneath the surface, the forest breathes life. Juvenile fish, shrimp, and crabs find shelter in its tangled maze, nurseries for the ocean beyond. Here, evolution takes creative license, fish that walk, crabs that wave, each creature timed to the heartbeat of the tide. Above, a symphony of wings. From flamingos to fish eagles, hundreds of species depend on mangroves for rest and refuge. For humans too, the roots provide firewood, timber, shellfish, medicine. The forest feeds both body and spirit. Yet abundance can blind. Overharvest, pollution, and careless cutting are thinning this once endless green. But this vital ecosystem is facing a convergence of pressures. Across the tropics, mangroves are falling to the relentless march of industry. Vast tracts of forest are cleared for shrimp ponds, a direct response to a global appetite for seafood. It's a lucrative trade, but one that has already consumed over 1 million hectares of mangrove habitat worldwide, an area larger than Jamaica. Alongside aquaculture, the expansion of ports and infrastructure carves up the coastline. Dredging for shipping lanes and constructing oil pipelines permanently alters water flow and salinity, creating conditions where mangroves simply cannot survive. These are the direct visible wounds, and nowhere is the cost clearer than in Nigeria's Niger Delta. Here, the damage is not just from clearing, but from contamination. Repeated oil spills from a sprawling network of pipelines have poisoned the water and soil. The crude oil coats the delicate breathing roots, suffocating the trees from below. What was once a vibrant, living forest is reduced to a skeletal graveyard, a silent testament to the disaster. For the communities who have lived here for generations, the loss is total. The fish are gone, the water is unusable, and a vital part of their culture and economy has been erased. Elsewhere, the threats are more localized, yet just as destructive. The axe and the flame take their toll. For many coastal communities with few economic alternatives, mangrove wood is a critical resource. It provides quick income as timber for construction, or more commonly, is converted into charcoal for cooking fuel. But this short-term gain comes at a high long-term cost. Each cut tree is a brick removed from the coastal wall, weakening the shoreline's natural defense against the sea. And then there is the slowest, most inexorable threat of all, the rising sea. As global temperatures climb and oceans expand, mangroves face a challenge they have adapted to for millennia. Their natural response is to retreat, to slowly migrate inland to higher ground. But today, their path is blocked. Concrete seawalls, coastal highways, and sprawling farms create an impassable barrier, trapping the forest in a tightening vice between the encroaching water and the developed land. From Asia to Africa to the Americas, the story is the same. The forest is shrinking, and every loss ripples outward, far beyond the shoreline. It means fewer fish in the nets, leading to hungrier families. It means more vulnerable communities and unguarded shores, left exposed to the full force of the ocean. The pressure points are clear, and the consequences are felt by millions. But wherever mangroves have fallen, people are working to bring them back. Along the Saloum, in Madagascar and Mozambique, entire villages have become guardians of the mud. From simple nurseries come forests, each tiny propagule a promise, planted, watered, and watched through seasons. Community projects link restoration with livelihood. In Madagascar, blue carbon programs reward those who protect the forest, turning care into income. Ancient beliefs play a role too. Some groves are sacred, protected by tradition. Science and spirit, together defending the roots. And slowly, life returns. Fish return. Birds call again. The tide brings hope. Mangroves are also vaults of invisible wealth. Beneath each root lies carbon, centuries of stored atmosphere held in mud. Hectare for hectare, mangroves store more carbon than most rainforests, making them key allies in the fight against climate change. Blue carbon programs, if justly managed, can channel global funds to local hands, protecting coasts while securing livelihoods. In the struggle for climate balance, these small forests hold big power. To save them is to save ourselves. Africa's mangroves are not just trees, they are communities, histories, and futures bound by the tide. Every paddle stroke, every root planted, is an act of resilience, proof that people and nature can heal together. The roots hold, the forest breathes, the tide turns once more. Protect mangroves. Subscribe, share, and donate at mangroveroots.org.